YNW Melly hopes that a new lawsuit filed on his behalf gets him out of prison. The lawsuit accuses the Broward Sheriff's Office of cruel treatment and violating his constitutional rights. The rapper, whose real name is Jamel Demons, is accused of murdering two of his childhood friends back in 2018. Now, he hasn't been able to see or speak to any of his family members for the last 3 years, according to the lawsuit.
I can get the shorter cord. It's right there. You can get the longer cord. Yeah, he been chasing like this. I'm good right here. Look, the cord. He been be chasing like that. That's not the music cord. The music cord is a short right here.
They said it couldn't happen. They said YNW Melly would spend the rest of his life behind bars, trapped in a cage with no one to hear his cries. And yet, against all odds, the news dropped like a bomb. A plea deal, sudden and shocking, changing everything in an instant. Fans erupted, rappers reacted, some with cheers, others with disbelief, and the internet went wild. But beneath the surface, a darker story is unfolding. Lawsuits, family denied, secret evidence, and whispers of betrayal that could destroy him from the inside. What really happened that night? And who can be trusted when the truth is buried under layers of lies? The answer might shock you, and nothing will ever be the same. The courtroom was tense, a place where silence screamed louder than words. YNW Melly, sitting behind bars, seemed calm on the surface, but inside, his mind raced through years of injustice, fear, and betrayal. 3 years in solitary, denied the touch, the voice, the warmth of family. His life had become a chilling echo of confinement. And now, a new lawsuit promised hope, but hope was fragile, a thin line between freedom and deeper chaos. His lawyers argued that the Broward Sheriff's Office had treated him cruelly, violating every right guaranteed to a citizen. No contact with loved ones. No letters. No calls. Only the cold, unyielding walls of a cell that chilled him to the bone. The music that once defined his life now felt like a distant memory, replaced by an endless, haunting silence. He hasn't seen his family in years, one attorney whispered. This isn't justice. This is punishment without conviction. Outside, the world reacted. Fellow rappers, some friends, some rivals, spoke in hushed tones over social media. Free Melly. He's been in there too long, one voice said. Another added, he deserves a chance. No one should live like this, not even him. But not everyone agreed. Critics argued that his celebrity shouldn't shield him, that the crimes he was accused of demanded consequences, and that sympathy for a man in his position was misplaced. The tension between fame and accountability simmered like a pot ready to boil over. Melly's mother, heartbroken and exhausted, gave an interview that shook viewers to their core. Her voice cracked as she described her son's daily reality. Frozen cells, barely edible food, letters withheld, no phone calls. My son has not been convicted of anything, she said, tears streaming down her face. Other inmates can write to their families, make calls. Why can't he? They hold his mail. They don't even let him see it. Her words painted a picture of a justice system that had forgotten mercy, a system bending rules to break a young man already shattered. And then came the bombshell. Mariah, Melly's ex-girlfriend, arrested at the airport after 3 years abroad. The feds claimed she had been kept away to prevent testimony, alleging witness tampering by Melly himself. The drama deepened, a twist no one saw coming. Her social media post revealed reluctant compliance. She would testify, but not willingly. The stakes had escalated. Freedom, betrayal, and the looming shadow of life sentences intertwined, making the courtroom a battlefield far more dangerous than any street corner. Inside the jail, whispers spread of secret communications, coded messages, and notes passed under watchful eyes. Melly's lawyers painted a picture of a man forced to navigate a prison that seemed designed to break him, while prosecutors piled on evidence meant to tighten the noose. Every digital trail, every movement, every word was scrutinized, turned into potential ammunition in a legal war where one misstep could mean the difference between life and death. Fans, friends, and rivals watched as Melly fought not just for freedom, but for his story, his truth. And while a plea deal shimmered on the horizon, the question remained, was it salvation or a trap that would unravel everything he had left? With every revelation, the tension mounted, leaving the world on edge, hearts pounding, waiting to see if YNW Melly would emerge victorious, or if the walls around him would close in one last time. The walls of the Broward County Jail had ears, and every whisper seemed louder in the empty corridors. YNW Melly's world, already fractured, began to crack further when shocking revelations emerged. His co-defendant, YNW Bortland, had taken a plea deal, one that insiders called the deal of a lifetime. 10 years instead of multiple life sentences, and in exchange, he would spill everything he knew. Every hidden move, every secret conversation, every coded message. Bortland held the key to unraveling Melly's carefully guarded world. Melly had thought the worst was enduring solitary, the deprivation of letters and calls. But now, betrayal lurked closer, threatening from inside the system itself. Evidence surfaced of messages, digital breadcrumbs, and notes that prosecutors claimed proved Melly had orchestrated a cover-up. A drop pin sent to Frederick given in the early morning hours, coded words referencing Young Thug and cryptic hashtags, all pointed to Melly's intricate web of communications. The authorities painted a picture of meticulous planning, a chessboard where every move was traced and recorded. The music community was split. Fans pleaded for understanding, remembering the artist who made them feel alive through his lyrics. Others, like Charleston White, openly celebrated the consequences, claiming that a life taken demanded no sympathy. Social media became a battlefield, opinions clashing, emotions running raw. Every post, every reaction, seemed to amplify the tension. Some voices offered empathy toward Melly's mother, the woman whose pain had become the story's emotional anchor, a reminder that even the guilty deserved human dignity. Inside the jail, Melly's own attempts to communicate were brought into question. Allegations of witness tampering loomed large, and his ex-girlfriend, Mariah Hamilton, now detained, had become a central figure. She had avoided testifying for 3 years, but her sudden arrest forced her hand. Authorities claimed Melly had influenced her to leave the country, obstructing justice. Every legal maneuver he attempted now came with a shadow, the looming threat that Bortland's testimony, combined with Mariah's coerced compliance, could seal his fate. Even seemingly innocuous moments were now twisted into evidence. Videos of Melly dancing hours after the crime, once celebrations of youth and freedom, were reframed as proof of guilt. Court documents placed him in the back left seat of the Jeep, corroborated by eyewitness testimony. And yet, his lawyers fought fiercely, arguing no firearm had ever been found, questioning every assumption made by the prosecution. The tension was suffocating, a tightrope between life and death, truth and perception. But the most chilling betrayal came from within his circle. Insider accounts revealed coded exchanges, names, and symbols meant to obscure communication. Yet prosecutors had cracked the code, piecing together a timeline that connected Melly to events he had publicly denied. Friends once loyal now faced moral dilemmas. Bortland's plea deal created a ripple effect, each confession potentially toppling Melly's defenses. Every revelation left him more isolated, the walls of the prison closing in as the legal noose tightened. Fans and fellow rappers reacted with a mix of shock, disbelief, and outrage. Lil Wayne's attorney warned that the case was evolving into something that could leave no escape, and 6ix9ine INE's commentary echoed through social media. Melly was cooked, trapped by circumstances both inside and outside the courtroom. The world watched, riveted, as secrets spilled and alliances crumbled. As the betrayal unfolded, one truth became undeniable. YNW Melly's fight was no longer just about freedom, it was about survival. Every coded message exposed, every plea deal revealed, every accusation brought into the open, intensified the stakes. The courtroom, the jail, the very streets that had shaped him now felt like a maze with no exit. And in the shadows of this escalating drama, a question lingered like a storm on the horizon. When the final truths came to light, would YNW Melly emerge free, or would the betrayals close in for good? The courtroom was silent, yet the tension felt like it could snap the air in two. YNW Melly sat rigid, every muscle taut, as the weight of Bortland's plea deal began to press down on him. The man who had once been his ally, his brother-in-arms, was now speaking freely to the prosecutors, recounting every step of that fateful night with unnerving clarity. Every coded word, every message meant to confuse, now exposed. Melly's carefully crafted defense started to unravel in real time. Inside the jail, Melly's isolation deepened. Letters withheld, phone calls denied, even visits from family reduced to nothing more than fleeting glimpses through thick glass. His mother's cries had echoed through news outlets and social media, her heartbreak amplified by the seeming cruelty of the system. "They treat him like he's already guilty," she had said, her voice trembling. "My son hasn't been convicted of anything, yet they strip away every connection to the outside world. No phone, no mail, no comfort." The emotional strain weighed on him like chains, tighter with every revelation from Portland and the federal authorities. And then came Mariah Hamilton. Once distant, now ensnared by a sudden arrest, she was brought back into the fray. Her presence was both a lifeline and a threat. The feds claimed Melly had orchestrated her absence, obstructing justice, but her eyes told a different story, a mix of fear, resignation, and a painful loyalty to the past. Digital evidence suggested a network of manipulation, messages sent, deleted, and rerouted to cover tracks, yet each attempt only revealed more. Fans and fellow rappers erupted online. Lil Wayne's attorney warned that Melly's fate was hanging by a thread, and social media exploded with reactions. "He's cooked," 6ix9ine said bluntly. "There's no coming back from this one." Others, however, rallied, sending love and support to a man now portrayed as both mastermind and victim. The divide was stark, emotions raw, loyalties tested. But the most damning blow came from Portland himself. As he recounted the events, every detail of the cover-up, the coded messages, the precise movements that night, came to light. His plea deal, an extraordinary reduction in sentencing, was both a blessing and a curse. By cooperating, Portland had illuminated a path directly back to Melly, implicating him without ever naming him outright. It was a slow, torturous revelation, leaving every listener, every fan, every member of the courtroom hanging on each word. Then the leaked DMs surfaced. Messages with smiley faces and cryptic confirmations, once thought playful, now took on a sinister undertone. "I did that," one read, paired with an innocuous emoji that betrayed a chilling nonchalance. Videos of Melly dancing, carefree hours after the crime, were dissected and replayed endlessly, evidence twisted into narrative proof. Every celebration, every casual interaction, now seemed like a clue in a meticulously constructed puzzle pointing to guilt. The tension reached a crescendo as the final testimony concluded. Melly's lawyer tried to intervene, but the court would not relent. Even as Melly protested, claiming innocence, the truth, layered, complex, and terrifying, was laid bare. A man who had been a symbol of resilience now found himself caught between legal strategy, betrayal from allies, and the relentless scrutiny of a public eager for justice, vengeance, or drama. And yet, in that moment of ultimate exposure, a shadow of defiance lingered. Melly's voice, though quiet, carried a weight that no evidence could fully erase. He hadn't spoken freely, but the glimmer of resilience in his eyes hinted at battles still to come. The world saw a prisoner, a rapper, a defendant, but behind that, a story was still unfolding, one that no plea deal, no leaked message, no viral reaction could entirely define. As the courtroom emptied, whispers filled the space like a haunting echo. The final twist hadn't been fully revealed. The lines between truth, loyalty, and deception had blurred, and the aftermath promised even darker revelations. One thing was clear, YNW Melly's story was far from over. And somewhere, just beyond the gaze of the public, the next move, shocking, pivotal, and utterly unpredictable, was waiting to be played. The story doesn't end here. YNW Melly's world has been turned upside down. Betrayal from allies, shocking plea deals, and haunting messages that hint at secrets still buried. We've seen the courtroom tension, the family heartbreak, and the digital trails that could decide his fate forever. But the biggest questions remain. What will Mariah reveal under pressure? Will Portland's full confession finally expose everything Melly tried to hide? And what about the messages, the calls, the movements that no one has decoded yet? If you thought this was the climax, think again. The next chapter promises even darker twists, unseen evidence, and confessions that could change the narrative entirely. Comment below if you want the leaked DMs, and don't blink, because the story of YNW Melly is far from over. What happens next could shock the world, and you'll want to be the first to know.